Welcome back to the After Dark podcast. I'm your host, Jess After Dark, and I'm here with my lovely co-host,
Ryan After Dark.
Welcome back, guys.
Welcome back.
We're feeling good today. So, over the weekend, it was someone beautiful's birthday.
This guy.
That guy. So, we thought in honor of Ryan's birthday, we would do a fun little segment. I wanted it to be 20 things I knew in my 20s. But I'm going to be honest. Who wants to hear us talk that long?
Yeah, that's a lot.
That would have been a long podcast because I can't shut up. So,
Facts.
So we are going to do 10 things we wish we knew in our 20s because we won't tell you our ages, but we're not in our 20s.
We're not. I'm deep in my 30s.
I wouldn't say deep.
Closer to deep than not.
Oh, you're like closer to mid.
Yeah.
I would say deep is like deep.
Deep.
You're not there. Okay.
Not there.
I would say we're still early to mid 30s. Okay.
Yes.
Fair enough. All right. But there are a lot of things that I wish I knew earlier, but I get we didn't, right? Because what are your 20s if not thinking you know everything and you clearly don't? So here we are.
That's factual. Yeah.
So kicking off the very first thing, which is the entire thing of this podcast, was my thing I wish I knew in my 20s was life does not end at 30. We all said that, right? It was like, I think it's even a trend to celebrate your 30th birthday as if it's a funeral.
Right.
Like death to my 20s, my life is over. I don't think, no, sorry. I'm going to say this with my whole chest. That was a blatant lie.
Yep.
What a bullshit lie that was.
I mean, I agree with that. Yeah.
Like, we're told life's over. Your youth is over, whatever the case may be. I'm going to be real. Some things died in my 30s.
Sure.
The will and to want to go out till 2 a.m. She's dead.
Yeah,
she's long gone. Okay. But at 30, I'm more financially stable than I've ever been. Okay. Yep. I have a better head on my shoulders. I've never been hotter. I'm going to be honest. Health wise, I'm feeling good. Okay.
Aging like fine wine over there.
I'm telling you. So yes, the whole dying at 30. Yeah. That was a lie.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Like, I feel like my life in my 30s is so much better than it was in my 20s.
It's crazy. And I feel like people try to tell us that. Like, so I've met people in their 50s being like, guys, you have no idea. It gets better. Like, life gets better. And we're like, no.
Yeah.
Do pieces of you die? Absolutely. But you're gladly like,
yeah, bye.
I don't wake up hungover at 1 a.m. or 1 p.m. anymore.
Sometimes 1 a.m. too.
Not doing that anymore. Obviously, naturally, our bodies are trying a little harder to bring us down. But I think that if you act accordingly, then...
Yeah, that's a big one. You just have to act accordingly because like I actually saw somebody that made a TikTok that was like, it's absolute bullshit that you can't bend over at 35. Like, that's not the way it's supposed to be. Like,
no, I saw that one TikTok of the guy that does yoga. He's like 110 and can still like easily sit in a crisscross applesauce position. And
I couldn't do that in my 20s.
I had bad knees starting in the 5th grade.
That's what I'm saying. I was born with bad knees.
So like you just have to work harder for it. So you have to want to not hurt. But my back hurts less now in my 30s than it did in my 20s. Yep. What a wild concept.
What a wild concept that was.
Yeah. So anyway, your life is not over at 30. That was a blatant lie.
Yep.
So yeah, that was my first thing.
Yep.
What's yours, Ryan?
Ooh, mine is set boundaries and cut off toxic family.
Oh, this is a topic we love so much. All right, you want to share a little insight on that?
Oh yeah. So like mine was obviously with my dad. That's he was super toxic. And I was always under the notion that just because he was family, I had to continuously deal with that, which obviously is not true. But every single time that he would call, I would answer, and then it would just dampen everything. So, when I realized what the actual effect was, I decided that I didn't want that anymore. So I cut him off.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I still see other people that haven't done that yet.
Much older. Like I see people, I mean, your mom.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Like 65
people in my family
old,
that still deal with him.
Yep.
And it hasn't changed. Like you can look back, he's in the same exact spot that he was 20 years ago.
Yep.
and everything's just the exact same.
Correct.
So yeah, that would be the big one for me, would be cut off just any toxicity out of your life, but especially ones that are close to you.
Yeah. Like so I think we actually did a whole podcast on why we hate dads.
Yeah, I think
but
so.
as far as like, cause I did the same, right?
Right.
It took me years to cut off my stepdad. And then obviously my dad cut me off when I was 5. So,
Right.
you know,
Yeah. You made that one easy.
he made that one easy. But as far as cutting people off, like, we're, like you just mentioned, you're pushed this notion like, oh, blood is thicker than water. It's family. Like, it's family. And it's like, to me, that's the most BS excuse I've ever heard. In fact, your family, you should be even more not acting that way. Like,
Correct.
You are family. Correct. So learning that family doesn't matter.
Yep.
Like, find your own family.
Yeah.
If your family's trash, cut them off, because you're never gonna and go make your own, because you are never gonna like thrive with them in your life. And I remember for your dad specifically, like you were saying, like you would let him in, he would call, and like every holiday he would ruin a holiday or ruin this. And like it took you years, just like it took me years to realize like I don't like who I am when you're around. Not you, but these people. It's like, why should I have to become a lesser version of myself because of this notion that family gets a pass to act the way they no, they don't. Yeah, you deserve better.
Well, it's funny too, because people always think that it's like, oh, I would just brush it off or whatever, but not realizing it's like that little splinter that like, it's just under your skin just enough.
Yep, just enough.
That it just bothers you for a couple days.
Yep,
and then it happens again.
And it happens all over again, and it never changes. And then eventually, one day, you cut your whole finger off because you couldn't take care of the splinter. So yes, agreed, 100%. And like the whole, it then trickles down, right? So like, you keep toxic family in, you become a toxic person. Yep. It's like, the analogy I'll share since we're talking about this. If you grew up with an angry dad in the household, you will always have an angry dad in the household. Yep. And I read that and I was like, that's weird. Ryan's not, ironically, Ryan was not the angry dad. And I was like, holy fuck, I'm the angry dad. Like for years, I was becoming this weird notion that my stepdad was like, it was weird to watch, like I was becoming that, and I was like, absolutely not. Like, so you have to cut it off and become your own path. So yes, I wish I knew that in my 20s, but we learned it in our 30s. Late 20s maybe, 20s, but I wish I knew it earlier in my 20s for sure.
Agreed.
Okay, so let's see what I want to talk on next. I really want to talk about college.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm gonna say this lightly. I don't know. Strongly. I don't know which way I want to take this. I think college was a scam.
Yeah.
Okay, hear me out. Yeah. So I went to college. Yeah. I went to college for 8 years. Yep. Ryan did not go to college. Right. Okay. Let me take you through my college experience. I went to college right out of high school. So I was literally turned 18 like 2 weeks before I started my first classes. Mm-hmm. I went to school to be a teacher. I wanted to be a teacher, whatever the case may be. So I started off with like teaching as my major, minor in math, because I wanted to be a math teacher. Then I switched them. So it was a major in math, minor in teaching. Then I did like 3 years like that and took my internship to be a high school calculus teacher. And that was so silly because I showed up I was 20 years old looking like one of the students trying to teach high school. That was stupid. Right. Okay. But I realized just teaching was not for me. Like I can understand the subject, but I can't get into your head to realize why on earth you can't understand the subject. Right. Which is
it's fair.
Thank goodness for our teachers, because holy cow, that's a lot harder than you think.
Right.
So I took some time off. Didn't think I would go back. Eventually did go back, and I wanted to be something in business. I majored in marketing for about 3 months until I dropped out because I was not creative enough. Mm-hmm. Insert laughter here. Okay. And then I ended up becoming an accountant. So I went to school to finish that off. Yep. So 8 years later, after all these changes, I finished it and I ended up getting my CPA license, which takes a lot of tests, stuff like that. And I start my job. I'm like, okay, like, hell yeah, let's go. I'm going to use so much I learned in school. Not a damn thing. Yep. Not a damn thing that I learned in school other than like the minor,
like just the
basic understanding of accounting, like debits and credits. Did I use at a Big 4 public accounting firm?
Right.
It didn't matter what I learned. Yeah. Because A, the law changes every 6 months anyway, so you have to learn the updated thing. And B, they teach you on site.
Yeah.
So I went to school for so long just to get this tiny piece of paper that is worthless.
Right.
I'm not telling you that college is worthless.
No,
I'm just saying
in it.
It's so crazy that, like, to follow a career path, so many places make you get this tiny piece of paper and then none of it matters after that. No one asks you. Right. You think anybody asked me if I got my master's program? Not a single person. No one cared.
I've never been asked. I've never even been asked for a high school diploma.
No one cares. Right? And so it's like, it's the resume and like it's on there and that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
And Ryan did not, and let me clarify. The reason I got Ryan, look at that beautiful man. I told him I was going to be a sugar mama.
That's right.
I told that man I was going to be a sugar mama. Yeah. No way in hell. I start going to work. I get a pay raise. Ryan gets a pay raise. I get another one. Ryan got, for 5 years in a row, we got the exact same pay raises because Ryan's skill set mattered.
Right.
You learn most of your stuff either in like other jobs, YouTube, like self-taught.
It was all self-taught, yeah.
Self-taught. And he ended up making 6 figures the exact same moment I started making 6 figures. Yep. And I worked twice as many hours as Ryan did.
And a whole bunch more school.
So it goes to show. And now, y'all, I'm not a CPA. Like, I'm still a CPA, but I'm not an accountant anymore. Yeah. Because now this is what I do instead, which is all self-taught.
Right.
And I'm loving it. And Ryan quit his job to do something else he self-taught himself at. There is value in learning.
Yeah, learning.
I just don't think there's necessarily the same amount of value people are putting on college the way that it used to be.
No, I agree. Well, college used to be the only place you could really learn those skill sets. Not so much anymore.
No, there's so many other opportunities. So, like, obviously, some places are not going to take you if you don't have a college degree. Right. But I don't know.
Lots of people will.
A lot of people will. So,
so yeah. So college is not nearly as important as most people think that it is.
I know. It's a sad day. But
sad day.
I learned that 8 years too late, but it's fine.
That's okay. We got here eventually.
We got here anyway.
So the next one that I have is it's not that deep.
God, unless he is.
Unless he is. That's right. So I feel like everybody makes something so much bigger than what it truly is. Like when you think about it on a day-to-day basis, I'm running 5 minutes late. I'm any of these different things, and you just watch people have complete meltdowns. And at the end of the day, it's not that deep. Like nobody cares that you're 3 minutes late. Nope. Like, and if they do, there's a whole nother.
Correct. Yeah, no, and I'm glad you brought that up because who used to be the worst about that?
You.
Me. I used to live in such a high level anxiety state. Like I was type A anxiety through the roof all the time. Like if we were running late, if I thought that this grade was going to get whatever, if I thought, we were going to be $5 short on this, like there was a point that I didn't have access to our bank account, but I could tell you off the top of my head exactly how much money we had in our bank account because my mind was like, okay, he swiped that debit card, he did this, blah, 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 blah. Anxiety so bad.
Right.
That I wasn't living life.
Yeah.
Because everything was that deep.
Yep.
I made everything that deep. But you know what? I started to realize over the years, what happened when I was 5 minutes late? Oh, wow. Nothing.
Yeah.
What happened when we spent a little bit more of this than that? You know what happened? Nothing. Like maybe we had to figure something out and we always did. Like, so it got to a point that I just had to tell myself like, enough. And like I've made videos about this before. Obviously you are a huge help to that because you handle so much, which makes me not have to like worry about so much, but like nothing is that deep. And people make every piece of trauma in their life, every piece of like XYZ, like going back to cutting off family, like that's hard, but like in the end, you'll be okay. Like everything will be okay. So I don't know. Like I wish I knew. You're right. Like I wish I knew in my 20s. Like,
yeah, it's not that deep.
When you start almost living like, if something happens, you have to live with the mindset of if something happens, then I will figure it out.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to borrow tomorrow's stress today.
Right.
When it hasn't even happened yet.
Yeah, like the sun's going to come up tomorrow. Like there are just like certain
the
things
Earth
that
is going to keep
everything
turning.
just keeps going.
Yep.
It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah. What a wild concept. Like we are so small. We are so insignificant.
So small. Yeah. And everybody always puts so much value into like thinking that they're so much bigger than what they truly are. And like not saying that you're not important or anything like that. But at the end of the day, like
but you aren't.
You can't stop this ride.
But you guys get what we're saying.
Yeah. General
like it's not that deep. Have faith in yourself.
That's right.
It's all good.
Yep. The world's going to keep on turning.
All right. What's my next one? Hold on. I can remember. Ryan's holding the list.
I have the list.
I can remember. I think my next one was debt. This was debt. Okay. Listen to me. This is so perfect because it's right off what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
And I just talked about my mind with money and everything like that. I grew up poor. And I mean poor. Like, don't ask mom for anything at the grocery store because you're poor. We would get the wrong version of things sometimes because one was $1 or a penny cheaper, and I don't know, it made no sense. Like couponing was life. There was one point I almost had to get a job at 14 to help pay rent. Like poor. Ryan grew up poor.
Yep. My parents filed bankruptcy. And we lost everything that they ever built. You know, when I was in like 2nd or 3rd grade.
Yep. So poor. We get it, right? Then we get together. Mm-hmm. And I was poor. Ryan was poor.
I was poor too.
We're dirt poor. I think when I met Ryan, he had like $5 in his savings account, and I had $3.50. Poor. Okay. Ryan did not have a credit card. I remember this because he did not he used cash system only. That's how he did. And I was like, hey, like you have to get a credit card. Like that's just not you have to have something if anything happens. So you finally got the credit card. And I remember we got our credit card in the same year because we met, we got married, we got a new apartment, all this, we racked up so much debt. Yeah. We had to. No one paid for our wedding. We just told you guys, our parents are poor. Yeah. Okay. So we had to pay for everything. And we made the choice that we actually wanted to have a nice wedding. And I don't regret that today. No, not at all. So we racked up a lot of debt. And I lived in a state of anxiety for 2 years over this credit card debt. And eventually we were able to pay it all off. It was good. It worked out. We had some luck come our way.
I gambled on GameStop a long time ago. That's what paid off all of our debt.
We made some good money. We pay off the debt. We then buy the house, and then we have to rack up more debt. So it's then we worked really hard, more anxiety, pay off that debt. And then the next thing you know, something else happened and we had more debt. And it kind of felt like we were in this endless cycle. Yep. I was going to work, we rack up debt. Go to work, rack up more debt. Yep. Something happens, rack up more debt.
As soon as you pay it off, you get more.
More debt. Yep. The dog gets sick or the child gets sick or something happens with the house. And it was oh my gosh. And I'll never forget, I had this moment in the kitchen where I looked at Ryan and I said, is this life? Is this life? I'm going to work. I'm making the lunches. I'm bringing her to school, and then we're paying off more debt. And it kind of felt like we were stuck in this just hamster wheel, right? Yep. And that's when I had to kind of start realizing, one, the U.S. government is trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars in debt. And what's happening to them? At the end of the day, nothing. No one's coming over and be like, what the heck? Okay.
Right.
Yes, I get that if we're super far in debt, you're about to lose your house, I'm not talking about those situations. I'm talking about you're making your monthly payments, you're just in debt. That's what I'm talking about right now. You need to still keep living your life, okay? Because nothing's happening, okay? Right. If I pay off my debt for the rest of my life, then I pay off my debt for the rest of my life. Yeah. Me not living for those 4 years that I was stuck in anxiety, I will never in my life get that time back. Yeah. I'll never get that back. Again, I'm not talking about the people that are going out and spending tens of thousands of dollars that they don't have and they're going to get everything represented. I'm just talking about us normal people that are trying to make normal lives and just buy groceries and pay our medical bills and do the normal things. Yep. You need to kind of let that go. You are doing the best you can. Yeah. Keep living your life. Yeah. Don't go buy a Lamborghini today. Yeah. But keep living your goddamn life.
Yeah. No, so many people, they get so caught up on it. And it's I eat, what is it? Dave Ramsey, he's big on beans and rice. Beans and rice. That's all you do. You just eat beans and rice and you don't spend any money. You don't go on any vacations. You don't live. You go to work, you come home, you pay off your debt. That's it. at the end of the day, the next day that you go to work, you could get into a horrific car accident, lose your life, and that's it.
Yep.
And that bank does not care.
They don't care.
They don't care. They write off the debt and they move on.
Yes.
Like, however, you spent your entire life in this circle.
Focus on giving the bank their money back. Like think about who you're paying back. It's not your friend. It's not your mom. Like, it's not somebody you know that's struggling for money. It's the bank.
Yeah.
Okay.
What happens when a bank goes under? That happened more recently.
And everybody lost their money.
Everybody lost their money. That was it.
Nobody paid that money back.
Nobody paid that back.
I think the government backs like $250,000.
$250,000. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
So if you had more than, which is a lot, but some people have way more than that in the bank. Like
companies.
It's gone.
Yeah. Companies that actually hold, big money. Yeah. They lost all that.
Yeah.
That's it. It's gone overnight. That's it.
But
that was a risk you took.
Yeah.
That's it.
But we're stressing and having anxiety and like, I can't like feed my family a dinner tonight that's like a worthy dinner to keep my health up, to keep my energy up, because I'm eating ramen noodles because that's 99 cents because I'm paying the bank back.
Yeah.
And like your mom's like that. My mom's like that. Again, poor mentality. Like you live in a world where it's constantly like, I have to be debt free. There's no reward at the end.
No.
There's nothing given. Again, it's like a college education. You're given a paper that says, okay, cool. Well, I guess you own your house, or cool, you own your car. Then what?
You trade it in and buy another one. Start over.
Correct.
Correct.
Exactly like it happens. Doesn't matter. Like, so I wish I knew that in my 20s, but like the anxiety has lifted again. It's not because I'm like hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, guys. I'm just a normal person with normal debt.
Normal size debt.
Normal size debt.
All right. My next one is success is not linear. I love this one.
Love this one so much.
Yeah.
I've been talking about this a lot lately, actually.
Yeah. No, it's one of those things everybody thinks that like you do these things and it's just this linear process, and it's just not.
No.
Like, let's say you go to college, you do like all these different things. You just go right up the ladder.
You get married, you have your kids, you do the things. Yeah.
And it's like, you go all the way through all of this. And I think a lot of people find that they're just not happy when they reach that mountain. And I felt this, I went through my whole career, and all of a sudden I was there for 9 years. And then I look back and I'm like, I don't want this at all. Like, no part of this.
No.
And there was no changing what I was in at the time.
Correct.
So it's not like I could just like pivot and start a new role.
Yeah, like let me go in this division or do something.
That was it. Yeah. So it was like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to find something else I want to do. And that's what I did. And I left. Yep. So starting completely over, ground zero, and then build that again. So, that's your not linear process.
I don't think anybody in life is meant to be stagnant. I don't think that's the case. I think we get pushed it for some reason, and I'm not going to divulge all my theories on that.
That's my next one.
Okay. So. Okay. But like, you are not meant to be stagnant. Yeah. You are not meant to live this life of graduate high school, graduate college, get married, have babies, one job for the next 70 years, retire and die.
Yeah.
That is not life. No. Holy cow. I love the example of the guy that first went to school to become a doctor. Then he went back to school, became an astronaut, and then did something else and was an engineer. Like, you have so much time in life. If every 10 years you wanted to change your career,
you can.
You can. Yeah. Like, and again, it goes back to like, okay, well, you have all the excuses. I don't have money. I don't have it. But we've made a podcast about this. Remember, my mom didn't want to divorce my stepdad at 55?
Yep.
Because she's like, we'll just die together. Well, you have 45 years left. What do you mean?
You're barely even halfway there.
Correct. Like, you could die tomorrow or die at 100. Let's pretend like you're going to die at 100. What would you do?
Yeah.
Like, how much time do you have? You're 35 years old. You have your whole life.
Yeah.
Learn a new skill. Learn something new. Do something completely different. You are not the person that they told you. You're not creative like people told me.
Yeah.
Bull. Okay?
Yep.
You are anything you want to do. You just have to work for it.
You just have to want.
You have to want it.
That's it.
So go learn the one skill, hit the top of that hill, realize it's the top of the hill, and go find another hill to climb.
Yep.
Keep going.
Yep.
Love it.
Love it.
Are you going to go to your next point?
You want me to go to the next one?
Or I don't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So mine is build your own dreams or someone will hire you to build theirs.
Ooh, I love this one too.
So many people go out there and they think that like they can't just do something for themselves. Like you hear it all the time. No, I have to go out and get a job. So ironically, my mom more recently said, hey, if your guys' setup doesn't work out, would you go get another job? And I'm like, no. Like, I will sell feet pics before.
What's our saying?
I said I'll sell my pictures before I sell my soul.
Oh, yeah, I'll sell my feet pics before I sell my soul, baby. Let's go. We say that a lot.
We do say that a lot. But it's like, we decided to go out and venture out and do something completely on our own.
Yes.
We didn't go out and acquire funding from other, it's just completely us. Yep. And it is ours. And if it fails, perfect.
It fails. Michael Scott, we have no shortage of names. We will
just
make another one. But yeah, no, I agree with that completely, because that's how, again, it goes back to like you're conditioned to think a certain way. Yeah. Not a single employer that you work for started off, they started their own company. Yeah. Every single one of them. It's such a wild concept. Don't venture out. Why? Because every person that's hiring me is someone who one time ventured out. Yeah. Think about that. Think about that. Like, other than government jobs, which again, Tea Party, Boston Tea, somebody ventured out and started their own fucking country. Okay. Yeah. Somebody took a leap of faith.
Right.
And they had faith in themselves. Right. And you can tell every story. What is it? Oprah Winfrey got fired from her first job. Yep. MJ got cut from the high school basketball team. Like, how many people failed and failed and failed and failed till they got it right?
Right.
Like, it's not easy.
Yeah.
We fail all the time. But then we have wins in between, and we learn and we move forward. Yeah. I could say today that like, oh, okay, I give up and I go back to working for somebody else and fulfilling their dream, and I get no fulfillment out of it. But I would rather take the chance every day. I will work 15-hour days to take a chance on myself. But working 15-hour days to take a chance for somebody else?
Mm-mm.
Absolutely not.
No, thank you.
So you have that choice. And like, I never understand why people are so weird about that. Like, they're like nervous for you, but it's like, I'm good. I'm gonna fly. Yeah. I'm gonna fall on the ground, but I'll get up. And that's all it is. So gotta work it. You gotta want it. Let me twerk it.
That's right.
Work it.
Nice.
Okay. Let me remember what my next one is. I think is it the alcohol one?
Yes.
Okay. This is a big one. So I not only grew up poor, I grew up in a family with alcoholism. Mm-hmm. Yay. Ryan did too, actually. So maybe that's why we were poor. Yeah, but so grew up obviously seeing that as like any social event, like casual Tuesday after work, like alcohol was always there, like whatever the case may be. I actually was a sheltered child. So I actually did not start drinking until I was 19. So like I did not go down this route of like crazy bad kid. I was like in high school in college at least. I obviously was not an age when I started drinking. But once I started to realize like where I grew up, I was very much like introverted. Yeah. I was a sheltered child. I didn't have a lot of friends, which is so funny that we're on a podcast and I chat so much. And then in my household, I just spent most of my time alone in my room. So once I started drinking, I realized, holy cow, I'm a chatterbox. Yep. I can socialize with anyone, whatever the case may be. So all the way from 19 until I stopped drinking, how old was I? Like 30? It's been almost 2 years now.
29.
So 29. Yeah. So a whole decade, I had this idea that, holy cow, Jess, when she's drinking, is such a cool personality. Yep. So if it was a social event, a normal Tuesday night, Taco Tuesday, regular Thursday, whatever the case may be, I would drink to bring out social Jess.
Right.
And when Ryan decided to stop drinking, I was very nervous with that because I was like, hey, like that's great for you. Like I know like health-wise, that's probably a great idea. But I don't know how I can be social without it. Yeah. And so I didn't want to. I didn't want to stop drinking with you. And like I didn't drink as much once you stopped drinking, but I still did. And then finally, I got a really, really, really bad hangover one day because I was drinking for like 12 hours straight, whatever. It's fine. And I said, fine, I'll do 1 month, no drinking. Let's see how it goes. And I haven't drank since. Yep. Because you know what I learned? Apparently, my personality is just here all the time. I didn't need the alcohol. But what was happening was I would drink, get the personality, go back sober and be like, oh, only Jess when she's drunk is like that.
Yeah. It becomes a crutch more than anything.
Crazy, right? And so, like, I think that a lot of people have that same fear. I think it's a logical one when you always like socially drink. Yep. oh, I'm much cooler when I'm drinking, so you drink.
Yeah.
But then if you realize after 3 or 4 months of being sober, this side of myself came out naturally now.
Right.
I'll talk to anybody now.
Yeah.
I wish I knew that sooner. That would have saved me a lot of embarrassing nights.
Yeah. I had a lot of embarrassing nights.
Like,
so.
We had some crazy times for sure.
No, I completely agree with that.
But yeah, so we shared that recently we've talked on the podcast that we don't drink before, but we've never really talked on like TikTok about that before. And I'm like, we've done some crazy stuff. Yeah. Not one time have we been under the influence. Nope. But yeah, I wish I knew that sooner because it's been I love it. Yeah. I don't even think about it anymore. It's not even not even thought. So it's good stuff.
Good stuff. All right. So my next one is don't live in the past.
Oh, yeah.
Like you see so many people that just live in the past. Mm-hmm. And I go back to this very, very prime example of I was talking with my mom and she said, if only I had whatever, I forget what we were even talking about, but I could only imagine what my life would have been like.
Oh, like if she had done something
or something like that. And it was like, what a wild concept.
Okay. If you're on YouTube, just know that Ryan's phone just died. So you are going to look at my face.
Yep.
While Ryan continues to tell us about
not living you guys.
living in the past. Okay. So you were just saying that your mom is stuck, saying, well, if only this, then this.
I can only imagine what my life would be like if I did this.
Yes.
And it's crazy because I think a lot of people do that. It's like, they relive like the glory days or things like that. When in reality, like
it's Andy from The Office and says, I wish I knew I was in the glory days when I was in them. Right? Everything is the glory days when you look back at it.
Yep.
You are in the middle of a glory day or what could have been.
Yeah.
But you're choosing not to even be present for this moment because you're stuck there.
Right.
Or stuck in the future.
Yeah.
You're constantly
worrying about the future.
What's the next thing? What's the next thing? But you are never here right now. Right. What are you doing right now? Look around you.
Yeah.
You're alive.
Yep.
You are here.
Yep.
You're listening to us.
Yeah.
Sick.
It's like, there's so many times that I think people freak out over things and it's like you go outside and you realize that it's just like not.
Yes. So whenever you feel like things are too deep or you don't understand or you're stuck in the past, stuck in the future, like go outside.
Yeah. Go outside.
Put
Sit in a chair
down,
somewhere. Yep.
Go look at the sun.
Yeah. Go stare at something.
Don't stare at the sun.
No, go stare at a tree or something.
Yes, exactly. Get some fresh air. Like realize it's all good.
Yeah.
Like you're good. But like living in the past, living in the future, like live in the present. You have this moment right now.
Yep.
You can't change what you did. You can't control what's about to happen.
No.
All you can do is take the moment that you're given right now and take it full advantage.
Just enjoy the ride. That's it.
I know. I'm telling you. But yeah.
There's
some good stuff.
I feel like there's some good stuff there.
I'm proud of you for taking time to sit down and write these out.
Thank you. I took a lot of time on this.
I know. I came home from a walk and Ryan was in his notebook writing his thoughts. And I was like, I have them in my head, but I don't have them written down. So I ate a snack while Ryan wrote down my topics so I didn't forget. But
I get you.
We did it.
We did it.
But yes, this was good. We had a good time celebrating Ryan's birthday this weekend, and this was kind of a fun activity. I've been wanting to do this podcast for a couple weeks now, and so I'm glad that we got to do it around this time. So if you like this kind of content, let us know. Or if you have things that you wish you knew in your 20s.
Tell us in the comments something that you wish that you knew in your 20s. That would be cool.
Yeah, I would love to hear it.
I'd love to read those. So.
And we can make our comment section life advice.
There you go.
And it's important to know that when we say I wish I knew this in my 20s, a lot of people still don't know this at 30, 40, 50, 60. And there's some stuff that I should probably know and I don't. So share that information because we're always growing. But we appreciate you all joining us today. I'm sorry that you're not going to see on YouTube Brian's beautiful face.
Yeah. Maybe next time.
Maybe next time. We'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.